Did you know your body has a powerful army working 24/7 to protect you from diseases? Right now, at this exact moment, there's a massive, highly coordinated military force operating inside of you. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving into your body's secret army. These tiny warriors are called white blood cells, and honestly, they are the reason you survive infections every single day.
It's so easy to just take it all for granted, right? But every time you take a breath on a crowded train, or get a tiny paper cut, or eat something that maybe has a little bit of bacteria on it, you are technically under attack. The sole reason you survive these daily microscopic threats, and the reason you aren't just constantly sick, is because of this powerful defense system actively hunting down and neutralizing diseases before you even realize they exist.
So let's get into what this army is actually made of. These warriors are formally known as leukocytes, which is just the scientific term for white blood cells, a super important part of your immune system. And what's really fascinating is how they move. They don't just sit around, they circulate continuously through your blood and tissues. Think of them as a highly advanced security force on a constant patrol mission, actively scanning to search for and fight harmful invaders, whether that's bacteria, viruses, or even parasites. The moment they detect danger, they mobilize to keep you healthy.
Here's the roadmap for today's Explainer. We'll start with your body's secret army, then look at the frontline soldiers, the neutrophils. After that, the commanders, lymphocytes, then cleaners and specialists, and we'll wrap up with the complete defense system. Section 2. Frontline soldiers, the neutrophils.
When an alarm gets tripped in your body, there's absolutely no time to wait. You need immediate action. And that's exactly where the neutrophils come in. These are the most common white blood cells, acting as your first responders. Their combat strategy relies on something called phagocytosis. When they encounter invading bacteria, they don't just push them away. They physically engulf them. They literally swallow their bacterial enemies whole, trap them inside, and break them down. It's a highly effective, close-quarters combat technique.
You can really think of them as the frontline soldiers of your immune system. Since they're the most common type of white blood cell, they form your massive infantry. They're the ones taking the very first hits, rushing right into the conflict the second an infection happens.
Section 3. The commanders, lymphocytes. Now, while the neutrophils are battling it out in the trenches, another division is taking a much more strategic approach. The lymphocytes are responsible for your long-term immunity, and they're broken down into 3 elite subunits. First up, B cells. Their job is to produce antibodies, kind of like custom-made tracking missiles designed for specific invaders. Then we have the T cells, which are precision units that kill off your own cells if they've already been infected. And finally, natural killer cells. These guys rapidly destroy virus-infected or even cancer cells. Together, they systematically dismantle the most complex threats out there.
And this brings up what makes lymphocytes so incredible. They act like intelligent commanders who remember past infections. This is the whole foundation of long-term immunity. When a B cell or T cell encounters a specific virus, it remembers its exact signature. If that same virus ever tries to invade again years later, these commanders recognize it instantly and launch a massive counterattack. It's tactical memory at its finest.
Section 4. Cleaners and specialists. Of course, no military force runs purely on frontline infantry and commanders. You need highly specialized support and logistics. Let's compare 2 vastly different units. On one side, we have monocytes. These are the largest white blood cells in your body. They travel through the blood and turn into macrophages to clean up dead cells. On the exact opposite end, we have basophils. These are the least common white blood cells. But despite being so rare, they're vital because they release a chemical called histamine, which causes inflammation. So you've got massive cleaners on one hand and rare, precise alarm triggers on the other. Calling those monocytes the cleanup crew is just spot on. Think about the aftermath of a neutrophil battle. There are dead bacteria and biological debris everywhere. If that mess is just left behind, it causes problems. Monocytes do the dirty work. They patrol the area, actively consuming and clearing out dead cells and pathogens so your tissues can heal perfectly. But what about threats that are just too big to be swallowed whole? Enter the eosinophils. These specialists specifically target parasites. Instead of trying to engulf them, they release powerful chemicals that destroy the harmful organism from the outside. They also play a really major role in allergic reactions. When you see conditions like asthma or severe allergies acting up, it's often because eosinophils are highly active. And bringing it back to those rare basophils, their job is all about communication.
They signal the body when there's an infection or an allergen. By releasing histamine, they cause that inflammation. Now, I know inflammation can be super uncomfortable for us, but it's actually a brilliant biological alarm system. It opens up the pathway so the rest of the immune army can rush to the infection site faster. They are quite literally the sirens of your immune system.
Section 5. The complete defense system.
So we've looked at all these individual divisions, but the real genius is how perfectly integrated this complete defense system is. You have your fighters, the neutrophils, taking the initial charge. Your planners, the lymphocytes, designing targeted weapons. Your cleaners, the monocytes, sweeping up the battlefield. Your parasite defense, the eosinophils. And your alarm signals, the basophils. It's incredible teamwork. Without them all working together, even a small, everyday infection could quickly become life-threatening. Which brings us to our final thought. This internal army works tirelessly, 24/7 to keep you alive, but they rely on the environment you provide them. So the big question is, if your internal army never sleeps, how will you support your frontline soldiers today? Whether that's staying hydrated, getting enough sleep, or just eating nutrient-dense foods, you're the ultimate commander here. If you found this explainer helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more health-related content. Stay healthy, stay informed, and keep learning.